Brock Purdy might be one of the most misevaluated players in the entire NFL, which is why part of this channel has just kind of been collecting opinions and evaluations on what Brock Purdy is because you have so many differencing and variations of opinions and evaluations of who he is that if you are, a football evaluator, that's no fault to you, but you're trying to look around and be like, well, this guy says he's really good and that guy says he's really bad. Well, which one is it? So that's why it's really become a thing where we're just trying to go around and figure out how football minds really view Brock Purdy. And this particular interview that was done with Joshua Dobbs, who is now the backup quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers, now has real world experience in the room with Brock and on the practice field, not only watching tape of Brock, but seeing it for himself. He now has a full understanding of why Brock is that guy. So Joshua Dobbs, and as we know, very smart guy. He's been on a bunch of different teams in the NFL. I believe it was 11. And he gives phenomenal insight into why Brock Purdy has been successful. And honestly, it's not that complicated. And it's straight to the point. Take a listen right here.
As a fan who listens to sports media, we all like to argue about, well, is Brock Purdy a superstar? Is he a game manager? Is he a blah, blah, blah? We like to throw these labels on quarterbacks. From your experience, you talk about Big Ben and how great he was at playing that position. From I guess the perspective of a quarterback like yourself, like what separates, let's say a top 5 guy in the league from, let's say, number 15 through 20?
Yeah. So one is opportunity, right? Like you got to first get the opportunity to go out on the field and play consistently in order to get reps. 2 is taking advantage of the opportunity, being prepared for that. And then 3, it's consistency. And that's what's impressive about Brock. Like he makes wild plays and everyone sees it. But it's like everyone's like, oh, he doesn't do what Pat Mahomes does. Well, I mean, Pat Mahomes has been playing for the Chiefs for 7 years now, So his progression as an NFL quarterback is different than Brock Purdy's, and they're on different teams, different schemes, at different stages of their career. But when you watch his game, he plays consistent football. And I think that's the difference between the top level guys and not the top level guys. And the guys aspiring to get to that top level is one, time on task. The best guys obviously have played a lot of football. But 2, the really good guys are so consistent. When it's, they do the boring stuff over and over. They throw an easy stick route. They throw the flat route every time when it's open. They're accurate. They give a guy catchable ball so he can get upfield and take advantage of yards after catch. And then when the defense comes up or they get an advantageous look to throw a go ball, to throw an in cut, they hit them and they make those plays. But those plays occur because they were doing the boring stuff at a consistent level. And I'm not saying Brock Purdy's a boring player when I say this. I'm saying he's a very consistent player and he's a very accurate, consistent quarterback. And that's what makes guys really good in the NFL. The defense is really good. They're really smart. The pass rushers get faster every single year. And so it's you have to be able to quickly make decisions, get the ball out of your hands, get the ball in the playmaker's hands. And if you're able to do that at a high level, man, your team is going to play good football. They're going to play really good football. And you accompany that with a really good defense and some stud playmakers around you. You're always going to give your team a chance to win. And then from there, you have to go out and make that play in those final minutes to win the game, which he has done and which the top guys do at a consistent level. But to be in those positions, you got to play really good, consistent football for 95% of the game.
First of all, I want to shout out Nick Atanakovic. I apologize in advance for absolutely butchering the name, but I wanted to give him his credit for asking Joshua Dobbs some great questions on his channel. I'll link the full clip in the description below because Dobbs also goes on to talk about his career, and it's actually fascinating to hear his process. But when you listen to Dobbs talk about Brock Purdy, he mentions a couple different things, one being opportunity. That is huge. And I know it's not thought of in the sense of Well, everyone has an opportunity, right? The best players always play. Well, not necessarily, especially at the quarterback position when you only have 32 positions in the entire NFL. And we know how it goes. You have guys who are already solidified at that position when you come in. I mean, when Brock Purdy was drafted, the 49ers had Trey Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo and Sudfeld on the roster, and he was the fourth quarterback, and the 49ers put so much capital into Trey. Literally, Brock Purdy was a afterthought foremost when it came to being a potential quarterback for the team. But as we know, injuries happen and the opportunity arose. And this is where this shifts to Brock, is when you get the opportunity, you have to take advantage of it. And that's exactly what he did. Brock Purdy didn't lose a game until the NFC Championship game because he didn't play in it, didn't even get a shot at it. So, yes, opportunity, it is a big thing. It's there. You listen to Josh Dobbs on that clip, continue on, and he talks about, it's like, I never got an opportunity, the first couple years of in my career. So that really has a big impact. But the thing that to me stood out the most was him talking about consistency, because I also talk about this all the time with football. To me, one of the greatest measures of a player is how consistently great they are. When you're at this level, everyone is capable of making highlight plays, having a good play here or there. But what really determines the best players in this league is the ones who can do it consistently, play in, play out. And that's not just big plays like Dobbs was talking about. It's the little things. There's so much nuance that comes to playing football, especially the quarterback position, that this conversation goes into like what feels like a bit of a vortex of just, is he making plays with his legs? Is he able to escape the pocket when everything is breaking down and make a play? Like, yeah, that's definitely a part of the game. But there isn't enough emphasis on being a leader. There isn't enough emphasis on being able to command a huddle, a locker room, a franchise as a young 24-year-old player. There isn't enough emphasis on being able to master one of the most complicated schemes in the entire world in Kyle Shanahan's offensive plan. And Brock being able to do that at the young age, that is huge. And being able to consistently execute week in, week out, play in, play out. And even if he has a bad game or two or three, being able to come out of that and continue to still be consistent amidst adversity, amidst having bad plays and all those different types of things, because it's going to happen. Everyone has a bad play. So I really resonated with it. I talk about it all the time on this channel. I talk about it with a lot, especially with offensive line play. To me, consistency is the main thing on offensive line. Yes, you can have pancake blocks. You can have these phenomenal blocks 30 yards downfield and all decleaters, all those things. But what really matters on the offensive line is how consistent are you? Can we rely on you? Play in, play out to do your job. And when you're the quarterback and you have all 10 other of your offensive players relying on you to do your job, play in, play out, it's a hard task. Not everyone can do it. That's why being an NFL quarterback and being a top NFL quarterback it's a short list. So I like this. I like what Dobbs had to say. I feel like Dobbs is going to be a great addition to the 49ers. He's going to fit in well with Brock and be a great asset to him. So let me know what you guys thought about this in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.